boop, beep boop, beep boop. A Just the Network production. Beep boop boop. That sounds good. Take it away, me. Hello, Gistners, and welcome to Just the Gist. I'm your host, Rosie Waterland, and in this podcast, I tell entertaining stories about anything and everything, but with just the gist of what you need to know to help you sound impressive at a dinner party. Gisting in every week is the JTG production team and you guys, the Gistners. So, let's get gisting. Hello and welcome. Hello. With me today, professionally gisting, are Hayley Staveley and Kate Lever. Hello.
Hello.
Thank you so much. I never know how to start it because I know the thing plays.
The thing started it for you.
Yeah, I know. And so then I'm in my mind, I'm always thinking, okay, they just heard that. So now what do you like? Now what sounds good? And I never do it right. Sorry, everyone.
We should play it for ourselves in here.
Get in there. I don't. James isn't here, and if we press anything, this room will explode. So we're not. James literally set this up, pressed record, and then went. And we cannot touch any,
No, we're not going to touch anything.
Everything very precariously rests on none of us making any sudden moves in this room. So, okay, here we go. I'm so excited about this one. I'm just going to, you guys don't know, you know what this story is, but you don't know, you know what the topic is, but you don't know anything about it.
Yeah. We know the name.
You told us the name and we were like, uh-huh.
Okay,
Who's
so
that?
I'm going to dive right in because I'm setting the scene.
Ooh,
okay, ready? Okay, here we go. You're a rescue and recovery diver. You've been called out to a job where a tugboat has sunk in bad weather. The boat is on the ocean floor, 30 meters down. That's about the height of a 10-story building. It's been a few days, so you and your fellow divers are only looking for bodies. It's pitch black that far down, so you can't see anything except for whatever your torch is shining on directly in front of you. A few bodies are found and brought to the surface. You go back down for another round, and just when you're about to call it for the day, you feel something brush up against the back of your neck. You turn around and you see the hand of a body in front of you. So you reach out to grab it to see how easily this body might be able to be dislodged. The hand grabs you back. You scream. The hand starts waving. You push past the debris the hand is poking out of, and there is a man in his underwear. He is alive.
What?
On the bottom of the ocean floor.
Oh, my God.
This is just the gist of Harrison Okene, who survived at the bottom of the ocean for 3 days.
Oh, my God.
Crazy. I do vaguely remember
Strap
this,
in.
but
I don't remember this at all.
I don't remember.
Yeah.
I'm ready.
Okay,
Wow.
Here we go. I love this story so much.
What a sensational opening as
Thank
well.
you so
My
much.
Yeah,
God.
that was great.
Thank you
I
so
felt
much.
like I was there.
Oh my gosh, thank you guys.
Hashtag
Thank you.
drama school.
Hashtag drama school, yeah. Okay. It's 2013. So this did not happen that long ago.
Yeah.
It's 2013. Harrison Okene is a 29-year-old Nigerian who works as the cook on a tugboat called the Jascon 4. There's a crew of 12 of them, including Harrison. So it's not a huge boat, but it's not small. It's about the size of a ferry.
Yeah, right. Yeah, because I was thinking tugboats are tiny.
Yeah, me too.
This is like a ferry size because these tugboats, it's big enough that it's referred to as a ship. But it's basically a tug ship. And these ones are the ones that go out for really big oil tankers and stuff. So they need to be bigger than just a little tugboat. It's a tug ship. Yeah, about the size of a commercial ferry. So they pretty much work all in the Atlantic Ocean and they just go to tug big things that need a tug.
What? When?
Your brain catching up.
I know. Because I was already going to ask something and I was like, okay, hurry up and stop talking so I can ask a question. And I was like, wait. We're really on a roll with those today.
I know.
Oh,
Yikes.
amazing.
Okay. So
That's good to laugh.
It's good to laugh. It's good to laugh. They're on their way to a job off the coast of Nigeria when there's a huge storm, like huge waves, giant swells, which would be very scary for the average person, but it's nothing Harrison hasn't dealt with before, so he's not super worried. I mean, the whole point of their tug ship is that they are often dealing with weather like this because that's when the bigger ships get into trouble. So it's about 5 a.m. He wakes up earlier than everyone else because he prepares breakfast because he's the cook. He's in his boxer shorts and he walks out of his tiny small cabin and down the hallway to the toilet, which is essentially like an airplane bathroom. It's like that small, cubicle-esque. And while he's doing his business, a massive rogue wave hits the tugboat. A rogue wave hits the ship and just tips it completely upside down, and it starts sinking fast. And he's very disoriented, but he knows that they're at least upside down because the toilet falls on his head.
Oh my God.
Yeah, and he gets like this big sort of like the ceiling is now above him, and he has this like head wound from the toilet coming off the ceiling, off what was the floor, but is now the ceiling onto his head. So Harrison forces his way out of the toilet room because there's a watertight door, which is like an emergency exit hatch, and that's sort of where they're trained to go if you're sinking fast and you need to get out. So he wants to get to that. But when he gets out of the toilet, there is just like massive amounts of water gushing in, like it's like Titanic style, like that. He tries to make his way towards the emergency exit hatch where he can see there are 4 other crew members already trying to get it open. But because of problems with pirates, which is like, pirates exist. Because of problems with pirates in this part of the Atlantic Ocean, all the doors at nighttime, they lock them all. Like all the doors between everything, they lock at night just in case they get raided by pirates. They want to try and stop them from getting through the ship. So everything's kind of still locked because he had woken up, he had gone to the toilet and opened that, and that was it. And so Harrison looks at the guys down by the emergency hatch, and that's when he decides he's going to do what none of the others decide to do. With all the water rushing in, he's like, there is not time to try and get that hatch open. Like, he, against all survival instincts, decides to move away from the emergency exit and like further into the ship, like where he had come from. And it turns out it was actually the right choice because just as he does that, he sees those crew members by the emergency hatch. They just get like swept away by surging water. And he is about to get swept away too, but because he has started walking back the other direction, and since not a lot of doors are unlocked, like the only open door is pretty much the toilet that he had been in, he gets sucked in back into that toilet and the door slams shut behind him. And very quickly, he feels the ship hit the ocean floor. So he knows that they're literally at the bottom of the ocean. I mean, it's the Atlantic Ocean, which is Titanic, where the Titanic sunk, but this is not far off the coast. So 30 meters down is very different to 2 kilometers.
Yes, I've scubaed 30
Yeah. People scuba that far. So he feels the ship hit the ocean floor. He's in pitch darkness because down that deep inside the ship, like it's so dark you can't tell the difference between your eyes being open and closed. Like you just can't see anything. And he's in a tiny space that is filling up very quickly with water. He can hear other crew members crying out, God help me, God help me. So wherever they ended up, they are also in spaces that are quickly filling up with water. And he thinks, well, you know, I'm about to die. Like I'm in this tiny room, we're at the bottom of the ocean. It's just going to be a minute for it to fill up and then I'm dead. He starts praying that God will protect his wife, and he just waits for the water to completely fill up the tiny little space he's in. And soon the screams of the other crew members stop. But then the water around him stops rising. And after a few minutes, Harrison realizes that there's no more water coming into the tiny little toilet cubicle he's in. And so he's essentially in like an airplane bathroom, but it's upside down. And the sink is on top because the sink had been on the floor.
We understand.
Yes.
It's upside down.
Well, Kate's face was like trying to imagine
just
it, and you were like,
imagining
"We get it, Rosie. I'm sorry." The sink is on top, the ceiling's on the bottom, and the water is up to Harrison's shoulders, and his head is in the sink. And so it's like there's an air pocket around his head in the sink, almost like the sink is like a helmet, like a scuba helmet or something. So he stays there for a bit, and he's like, "Shit.
Yeah.
This isn't great.
This is not excellent."
Things equal bad.
Yeah. He knows he's at the bottom of the ocean. He knows he's incredibly lucky to have this air pocket, but he also knows if he just stays there, he'll die because it's the Atlantic Ocean in winter. It's freezing. He can't stay submerged in the water for that long. And this is where sensory deprivation starts to really mess with his mind.
This is a spooky one.
Yeah. But like not gory, so I thought you'd be okay.
I'm on board with it.
Yeah.
'cause-
Yeah.
yeah.
Like, I can't breathe.
Yeah. So where was I up to? Oh, so this is where the sensory deprivation really starts to mess with his mind, and it kicks in pretty quickly because it's pitch black and he can't hear anything but water around him. So it kind of is like a sensory deprivation tank.
No, because you
not
can see stuff
relaxing.
in those. They have lights in them.
Oh, well, yeah, he can't see
yeah.
literally anything.
That's
and so
panic-inducing.
there's something about
Thank you.
the darkness of that. When it's that dark, even if you're in a small space, your brain can't compute whether you are just in endless expanse
Yeah.
or
Yeah. So I just think it's very reasonable to be scared of the dark, like just the normal dark.
no, totally.
Yeah,
Regular
good.
dark.
Okay. I'm glad that
Yeah.
you agree with that.
No, big time. So pretty much immediately, because of the sensory deprivation, he starts to lose track of time. Like he can't tell if minutes or hours are passing
probably a
because he's
blessing.
just, it's messing with his brain. So he's freezing and he's disoriented, and he's definitely going to die if he just stays in his little sink air pocket around his head. And so Harrison decides he has nothing to lose. He's like, I can stay here and definitely die, or I can take a chance and maybe die. So he figures he'll explore as long as he can hold his breath and then go back to the air pocket. So like take a breath, swim out, try and see or figure something out, just quickly swim back. So he swims out of his little toilet cubicle. And it's so scary to me that, like, outside of that sink air pocket, it's completely submerged. It's like being in a box completely filled with water. Like, so he has to, right? He has to take a breath, and he can't see anything.
Yeah, that's what I was going to
So he has to take a breath, and then he, like, swims out and sort of feels his way, like,
But isn't
along.
the door's not closed?
Well, that's the thing. Like, he's trying to, maybe some doors have been pushed open. He's like, I need to
Find
something out, like, because I'm going to die in this little sink pocket. So he's feeling away along, and then he'll like quickly swim back because he needs another breath, and then he'll go out again. He gets scared to go too far because he's like, I have to go back again. And then he goes out the third time, and he's feeling away along, and he like is about to run out of air, and he says, I just had this urge to sort of go up a bit, and all of a sudden he finds himself in like another much bigger air pocket.
That'd be the best.
This one is like a few meters by a few meters. He thinks it's one of the officers' bedrooms, and so obviously the floor is the ceiling. Thank you. I'm pointing that out again, everyone.
For my sake.
And so now he has a bit more hope, like to go from just a tiny sink around your head air pocket to like a few meters by a few meters is
It would feel palatial.
Yes.
Yeah.
So he knows he needs to get out of the freezing water, so he manages to get like the mattress from the bed, and he sort of pulls it up on top of some debris. And so now he's kind of just floating on this mattress in this tiny space so that he won't freeze. And at this point, it's probably been a day, but like he can't tell. He just can't. He has no sense of time. He starts to go nuts.
I feel like if this was a movie, I'd be like, oh, bullshit. Come on.
Right?
Like,
so he has no food or water, and he's swallowed so much seawater just in all of this commotion that his throat is burning and his tongue is peeling.
Oh.
Yeah. He doesn't know if anyone else is alive, but he does hope because he is like in the tugboat business, he's like, well, he knows recovery teams come for this kind of thing. So he's like, I just need to stay alive for a recovery team to come, because we're 30 meters down, which is like they should get here pretty quickly and like start looking into getting this boat up or whatever. Tug ship. So he starts leaving his air pocket to go on like little recon missions to find stuff, because he needs water and he needs food, like just anything that will help really. But it is terrifying because, again, every time he leaves the air pocket, he's completely submerged underwater and it's pitch black. He has to hold his breath and just feel away his way along, like feel for a door, and if there's a door, like has it been pushed open by the water, like can you get through? Like it is petrifying. He says that a couple of times he gets like turned around and almost drowns before he finds his way.
I was going to say he must have a pretty good sense of direction.
Yeah,
because I don't.
Yeah, because it's all upside down and like it's the opposite. Like I drowned in the first 5 seconds.
Same.
Like I don't
Just
know how
about to
he's
say
doing
that.
it. There was, and he's actually like quite lucky that he said there was one room that he was trying to get to because he thought it probably would have like, because he's like the cook, so he knows where like food and all stuff is, but he couldn't find it. He just couldn't figure out where it was, and he finds out later that that's the room that a couple of the crew members went to and they drowned, like because that room completely submerged. So he's like lucky that he didn't get there. But then he's not sure how much time has passed, but on one of these little recon missions, he's feeling along, literally can't see anything, and he feels a life jacket. And the life jackets have torches attached to them. So he gets a torch. And it doesn't light much, like except for what's directly in front of him, but like it's better than nothing.
Yeah.
So he's not just guessing his way around anymore. Like he's not just like... It's basically like having his eyes closed.
I feel like
swimming
my whole body
on
has relaxed a little bit.
Now that he's got the little torch.
Yeah, so he's at least got the little torch. And using the little torch, he finds like some plastic sort of overalls, and he tears those into strips and he ties it together and makes a makeshift like rope. So he ties it to something in his air pocket room, and then he uses that as a tether every time he goes out.
Cave divers do.
Yes, exactly, with his little torch. So now he can at least find his way back. So he's like feeling a bit more confident about, with the torch and knowing that he's tethered, he can like, you know, before when he was feeling like he was running out of breath, he would just immediately go back but now he's like, I can push it a little because he's got this little system set up. And because he's the cook, he does know where all the food supplies are, but he goes to all the places and like it's all locked. Like nothing, he was hoping the sea might have pushed some of the doors open, but everything's locked. Eventually he finds just like scattered on the floor, it's not floor because it's ocean, but you know what I mean, just floating wherever, one bottle of Coke and one tin of sardines.
Ugh.
So he takes those back to his air pocket and he's like trying to ration it. But then less than 24 hours after finding it, the torch dies.
Oh, no.
I know.
And with it, our hope.
So Harrison, yes, is back in pitch darkness again on his little mattress with his little Coke and his little sardines in his little air pocket.
It is kind of funny that he's trapped in the ocean and the only food he could find was a tin of fish.
Fish, yeah.
Also, the mattress is so Titanic coated.
I know,
it's
isn't it?
so
It's
door.
so good. So he's debating whether or not to leave the air pocket again without the torch, because he does have his little makeshift rope tether. But then he starts hearing water thrashing like from surrounding parts of the ship. And he realizes pretty quickly that's sharks eating the remains of
Oh my
crew members.
God. No, I knew
No,
you were going to
it's
say
sharks.
sharks and I felt sick.
So then he's like, leaving the air pocket now is not, he can't. Sharks have found them, like found the ship, and he'll get eaten.
It's probably the same sharks that ate the trash man
Yes,
people.
I think so.
I think so.
Psychos.
Yeah.
He says in an interview later, all around me was just black and noisy. I was crying and calling on Jesus to rescue me. I prayed so hard. I was so hungry and thirsty and cold, and I was just praying to see some kind of light. And so the thing with air pockets like this is, even though it's a few meters by a few meters, which is bigger than his little sink one, the oxygen is still not going to last forever. And it's not the lack of oxygen that gets you. It's as you breathe out carbon dioxide into the space. And so then the space starts to become more carbon dioxide than oxygen. And so that leads to carbon dioxide poisoning, which is like fatigue, dizziness, confusion, nausea, difficulty breathing, and eventually you like lose consciousness and then he would, die. So he's starting to get very, very sick from that. He's also getting a lot of nitrogen in his body because being at this pressure, like that far underwater for too long, does weird stuff with nitrogen in your blood. Like most divers in full gear would only stay at that depth for like 20 minutes to half an hour max before like coming up. And he's been down there for, he can't tell, but he's like a long time. So it's pitch black. He's freezing and his Coke and sardines have run out. His tongue is still peeling from the salt water. Crayfish have started feeding on him, causing little weeping sores all over his body.
What dickheads. There's heaps of corpses around.
I know. And on top of the massive head wound he has from when the toilet smashed into him at the very start, carbon dioxide and nitrogen poisoning is slowly getting to him and he can hear sharks eating his friends. So Harrison
that's not the best day
is not in the best place right now. Things are not looking good for old mate Harrison.
Oh, dear.
So he says that he just keeps praying and hoping that a recovery team will come. Then, suddenly, he hears a sound that he recognizes. He hears an anchor hitting the ocean floor.
Yay.
So he knows.
Did you say a shark dropped that anchor?
Yeah, really bad. It's not a shark. It's not shark related. And he knows it must be a recovery ship on the surface above him. And then he starts hearing sounds that he knows are divers around him. And so he spends the day just clanging on everything he can, trying to get attention, just trying to make noise, but nothing. It's like they can't hear him. Then he sees a torchlight. And so he swims as fast as he can out of his little room and he sees a diver, but just as he gets to him, the diver is turning and swimming down a corridor in another direction. The diver didn't see him. And as he turns away, the torchlight disappears and Harrison kind of debates, should I attempt to follow him, but I could get lost in the dark and drown. Like he has to go back. He goes back to the air pocket. And he can hear them leave and come back and leave and come back. And every time they leave, he's worried it's the last time. Like they've got what they came for, like bodies or whatever, and they're going. And then they leave and he doesn't hear them come back. So he's like, they've left. They came and they left. And he's convinced like they didn't find me. I'm effed. Like what? That was it. That was his only hope, was a recovery ship. And now they've come and gone. But he doesn't know that they haven't left. It's just nighttime and they've stopped for the night. And so they are coming back in the morning. So more hours passed and he kind of just loses hope. And eventually he's just sitting there waiting to die. He's like, they're gone. Yeah. Then hours later, he sees the torchlight again. Yay. And this time it is really close, like right outside his air pocket. And he wants to get this diver's attention, but he doesn't want to scare him because he's like, I know they carry knives for like just protection, sharks, whatever. And they're not going to be expecting anyone to be alive. Yeah. So Harrison kind of gently reaches his hand underwater towards the torch.
Least creepy thing you could do.
I know. Hello. And he taps the diver on the back of the neck and he feels a hand like grab his. And so he grabs the hand back as gently as possible and then he feels the diver like jerk away. And so he reaches out his hand again and the diver grabs it firmly and swims towards him. And then the diver enters the air pocket.
Oh, my God.
And they're just staring at each other.
Oh, my God.
And the diver looks like, apparently the diver just looks like he's going to faint. And it has been 3 days that Harrison Okene has been on the ocean floor and he has now been found.
Oh my God.
And like from the diver's point of view, that is so effed. Like you're down there to recover bodies. They've already pulled 4 out of the wreckage, and then he sees a hand, assumes it's another body, and like this corpse hand grabs you.
Oh my God.
Like I don't know how that diver didn't shit his pants.
He probably did.
Yeah, he probably did.
Yeah.
So these rescue divers wear like almost kind of like a space helmet. Like they're not in like scuba gear. It's a bit different. They have this like big sort of almost like an old school, how you imagine old school divers, those kinds of round helmety things. And it's connected to an air hose that goes up to the rescue ship that's on the surface. And they also have like a body cam on them, and a team on the surface is watching the live stream so they can sort of look.
So that multiple people shitting themselves.
And like they also have mics, so they're communicating with the team on the surface who can see everything that they're seeing.
Googling
it's like just
water zombies, what to do.
It's all for safety. And I'm like telling you the logistics of this because there is footage of the exact moment Harrison is found, and I'm going to show you right now.
Oh my God. I've never been more thrilled.
I know.
Oh my
Okay,
God.
okay,
Oh my
ready?
gosh.
Ready?
Okay.
Okay, here we go.
So
it is
ready.
crazy.
God.
Here we go.
You've put us through so much. This is such a reward.
Okay, here we go.
Ceiling, yeah? Okay. What's that? Okay.
Oh,
It's alive. It's alive.
it's
Okay,
alive.
Keep him there. Keep him there. All right. Just stop. Just. All right. All right. Just hold him there, okay? Just keep him there. All right. Just keep him there and keep him calm, okay? All right. Just reassure him. Pat him on the shoulder.
Oh my God.
Oh, look, he looks so scared.
Yeah.
Oh, I want to give him a call.
Oh, look at it.
Oh, okay. I'll pause it there. So there's like,
Oh, I have
You're
like
actually
full
surprisingly
surprisingly calm.
Yeah.
Like, I
Yeah.
guess they're trained for
I get
pretty
like,
horrific things.
he
but
says the diver, he's called Nico, the one who's down there, and he says later that he was petrified.
Yeah.
But they are professionals, so very quickly it's like, okay, there's someone alive down here.
Yeah.
We don't know how. And like obviously he goes in and the air pocket's there and they're like, okay. And Harrison just looks like,
he's not sure if he's hallucinating
yeah,
or something.
he does.
Like,
He looks,
At that stage,
poor
could he?
guy.
So he probably couldn't see.
he couldn't, like Harrison was in the pitch darkness until
Yeah,
that light
that
was
light,
in there.
yeah.
So he's also just like, being able
Yeah.
to see something for the first time. And it's like, there's a lot more footage you can watch, like what after they're in the air pocket, they're like, the diver gives him like an air helmet and gives him like water. But the diver was in total shock. And Harrison said later, I knew when he gave me water that he was observing me to see if I'm really human because he was so afraid. So like the Nico was freaked. And they can tell very quickly that Harrison is really close to death. It's like carbon dioxide poisoning and nitrogen poisoning. His eyes are really glazed. He's panting, which he said later he didn't realize that he was. So they put the oxygen helmet on him, but because he is so far into this, to give him pure oxygen, he wouldn't be able to handle it. So they need to mix the oxygen with helium so it's easier for him to absorb. So they've got this like air helmet on him, feeding him oxygen and helium. But that means in a lot of the footage you watch where they're like giving him water and they're in the air pocket, he has a helium voice.
That's what I just
So they're like, they ask him his name.
scarier.
I know, they ask him his name and he's like, Harrison Okene. And then like, what rank are you? And he's like, ship cook. Like it's like, it's like, it's the we'll put in the show notes all the footage. You can go and watch
I
it.
want to like understand the chemistry of why adding helium.
The amount of like physics and biology and stuff I went and
Chemistry is
read
the relevant one, but
chemistry, that one I went and read to try and understand like the nitrogen and the dioxide and the helium. And then I was like, Rosie, it's just the gist.
It's just
I know all the other stuff from diving, but I've never heard of helium. So I'm like,
yeah.
Oh, but for the comic value,
I know.
it was
Yeah, maybe
a good
that's
choice.
why they
Maybe
did
it was
it.
just for lols. Maybe it was just for
because everyone
lols.
knows water zombies aren't affected by
Yeah.
helium, so they were checking.
So what comes next for Harrison is pretty torturous because he's been at such a deep pressure for so long. You can't come up too quickly because you get like the bends, which is like that thing when if you've been deep diving, you have to be really careful. So they tell him like, we're going to save you, but we have to do this very slowly. So first he gets taken to a diving bell, which is like a pod that's down, that gets lowered down to where you are. They put him in it and they raise that like incredibly slowly. So he's in the pressure of like the outside pressure and versus the thing. And like I said, I looked up a whole lot of science stuff to try and understand it, but it's like, it's just,
you get nitrogen bubbles in your blood.
Exactly. Yeah. And putting him in the diving bell and bringing him up slowly just the gist.
Nitrogen.
Yeah, exactly. The diving bell finally reaches the surface, but still he's not allowed to just go straight out into the world. He has to get put into a like recompression chamber. So he has to stay in like a, I don't know why it's recompression instead of decompression. Just the gist. I don't know. Anyway, they put him into one of those and he has to stay in it for 3 days.
No.
Yeah, to like acclimatize his body back or else he'll get the nitrogen bubble thing and die.
How big is it?
It's like they have one, it's on the ship, the rescue ship, and it's like just a little sort of room pod thing.
I've never heard them called I've only heard them called decomp.
Yeah, I know, but there was like a few articles that I read specifically called it recompression, and I assumed it was decompression, but anyway, just the gist.
Maybe it's a regional thing.
Do they bring him snacks?
Yeah, so they keep him company and they like bring him food, like he's not alone while he's in there. 3 days pass. So he was on the ocean floor for 3 days and then he has to stay in that thing for 3 days and then he's finally allowed out. And they wait until he's out to tell him that he's the only survivor of the ship sinking. So 11 people died. Wow. And that's when they tell him he was at the bottom of the ocean for 3 days because he had no concept of like how long it had been. Yeah. And there's a Guardian article with an interview with him from a few years ago and it says here, he could not believe it when the rescue team told him that he had been underwater for nearly 3 days. He had no sense of having passed even a single night. Wow. Incredibly, when Okene's vital signs were measured, he says, everything was normal. My temperature, blood pressure, I thought, that's not normal. Released from the recompression chamber, he shunned advice to go to hospital. He was desperate to get home. But over the next few weeks, media teams gathered at his front door and the nights were besieged by dreams. As he slept, he felt the bed sinking. I would pick up my wife and carry her and try to open doors to get out. So PTSD hits him pretty hard. He vows never to return to the sea again. Mm-hmm. But then a year after all this happens, he's with a friend and they're in a car accident. Their car runs off a bridge and into...
Rosie, give us more time.
Yeah, like into a like port. It's like a port area and they go into like the sort of ocean water there. Fair. He swims out of the car, but then he turns around and he sees that his friend isn't there. So he swims back down to get his friend. And they go to the police because neither of them are harmed. So they go to the police to say, like, you know, we just ran off the road and our car's at the bottom of this port area. And the police are like, well, you have to get your car out of there. And so Harrison and his friend have to, like, themselves get like a I don't know, a pulley thing or whatever, and he says he has to swim, he and his friend have to swim down and like rope up the car to then have it pulled out of...
Why the fuck?
I mean, I don't know, it's Nigeria, not that like maybe they were just like, you know, that's your problem, you deal with it. Like they were just like... They went to the police for help and the police were like, well, you just told us you littered the water, so go and clean up your trash, basically. So, yeah, he has to swim down and they have to, like, set this car up to pull it out of the water. And so he says, and this is from that Guardian interview, so I went down into the water again to put the rope around the car and bring the car out. After that, I told myself, what are you afraid of? How can you be scared? You have seen so much. If you have come through this, I think you should not be afraid of anything. Okene wanted to train after this as a diver.
No.
But his older brother, worried for his well-being, counselled against it. Yep. In 2015, Okene and his wife separated. I was alone. I didn't have children. I didn't have a wife. Not a good job. I was frustrated, just alone with my dog. I was depressed, but nobody knew. Okene sounded more scared of that experience than of his time underwater. He felt he would die if he didn't act. If I had sat down and said, I'm not going to the ocean again, I would not be here today. So he realizes he needs to do something. I think he's been dealing pretty badly with trauma and PTSD, and his relationship has broken down, and he had this instinct to learn to dive after that car accident. His brother talked him out of it, but then he was like, you know what? I've got nothing else like this. To him, he's like, I miss the ocean. I did love it. And so he decides
like most people would go on a reality show.
Yeah. So he decides to make a, big change in his life. He wants to confront his fears. So he goes on to train as a commercial diver. He is trained to dive to depths of 50 meters, which is 20 meters deeper than he was when he was on the ocean floor. He gets a job like repairing oil rigs and that kind of thing, which he does for the next few years.
That's a dangerous one, though.
That's what he does. And then get this.
No.
After there is a bit of press around all of this in 2013, because that was the 10-year anniversary of his survival. That's when that Guardian interview I just read was done.
Wait, 2023?
Yeah. So he did a few interviews and stuff like that to mark 10 years since he was rescued. And because of that press, the team who rescued him read a bunch of the press about him, and they read where he had ended up and that he was now a professional diver. So they can't believe it. They reach out to him and they offer him a job.
Yay! I love that.
And so now, to this day, Harrison Okene works as a diver with the team that rescued him back in 2013. He has a wife and 3 kids, and he regularly posts videos on YouTube and on his Instagram about his life and his work diving. And he quoted in an interview recently, I have faced a lot of fears in my life, and I decided to face this one once and for all. I know it should be my fear, but I don't need to be scared of water, because I need to embrace my fear once and for all and be strong. Our happiness, our joy, our future, they are all in our hands. I had to reprogram my thinking. I had to balance my mind. I try not to offend anybody, and I try to trust life, because when humans are close to death, that is when they understand we are all one. Meaning in this life comes from the lives you touch.
Oh my.
How did he wind up more mentally healthy than I ever could imagine becoming?
Wow.
So that is just the gist of Harrison Okene.
Rosie, what a roller coaster.
Yeah,
what
I
a
was
journey.
thinking, what if at some point he wakes up and realizes he's still in the bubble?
Oh, no,
And his
don't.
whole life is-
No. Oh, can you imagine? No, but like I went and looked at his Instagram this morning. He posts.
Instant follow.
Yeah, he posts like just videos, almost like motivational kind of videos of him just talking about stuff he thinks about life and survival and what's important, and also diving content. And
I hope he's getting some lucrative speaking gigs.
I mean, I hope so, yeah. Like it all sort of blew up in the press 2 years ago in 2023, like the 10-year anniversary. But yeah, he's still
Is he
got a
still
few
working with
thousand
Nico,
followers.
the guy who found him?
Yeah, like he's
Specifically?
working with the whole team. Oh, I don't know if Nico specifically, but the team he is.
How many pranks would you pull on Nico just going up
don't.
behind him?
Yeah,
just
I
tickling him?
know. Remember these fingers on the back of his neck.
Oh my God, Rosie, that was a good one.
love
Isn't it a
that.
good one?
Yeah.
And it's just like the ending's so lovely.
I know. It makes me feel like such a piece of shit.
Yeah.
Like the stuff I'm scared of is not as harrowing as being trapped in the bottom of the ocean, and I'm like, I'm not going to face my fears.
Yeah,
and
I know.
he's like,
I need my sister to call the dentist for me. I'm 39. So, yeah, and I also just think it's really lovely that, obviously he dealt with a lot of PTSD and all that stuff, and it seems like what he realized in the end when he says, I had to reprogram my thinking, he realized that the thing that would make him feel better was like connection. He's like, it all just meaning comes from the lives you touch and the relationships you have, and that's sort of what pulled him out of it all.
An extremely tough way to learn it, but that is quite a lesson.
Yeah. So, I mean, those asshole police who were like, oh, you crashed, go clean up your trash from the water, maybe like,
sort of set him on a path towards...
because having to like go down there again and do that, he was like, I want to do this. I can do this. I miss the ocean.
You're now, Hayley, making me reflect on what I would do in that situation. There's no way I would go back for that car. I'd be like, that car is gone.
Yeah.
I'm not
How
going
are
to
they ever going to know? How are they going to know you
Exactly.
didn't take it? They can't, or maybe they could say, I don't know how deep, it can't have been that deep if they both like swam out of it, but how would they know if you left it there?
Well, I mean, maybe I'm missing, my path to this enlightenment that he's got in the end because there's just no way. I just would not. No.
We'll dive down and rescue cars and see what happens.
Metaphorically.
Yeah,
Or
literally.
Okay.
So yeah, that was just the gist of Harrison Okene, a really great one.
Outstanding.
And we truly wish him the best
We do.
forever. Only
Yeah.
good things from now on.
Not the Gwyneth wish him well, the genuine wish him well.
genuine one.
Wish him well.
All right.
Yeah.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Oof.
Thank you for listening to Just the Gist, a Just the Network production. Executive produced and hosted by me, Rosie Waterland. Produced and edited by James Joseph with additional production support from JTG team Kate Lieber and Hayley Stavely and Acast legends Guy Scott Wilson and Simon McDermott. Looking for breaking news? It drops on the Just the Gist Patreon every Tuesday, along with a whole lot of other bonus audio, video, and behind-the-scenes content, which you can access for just $1, $1 a week by clicking the link in the show notes or searching Just the Gist Podcast on Patreon. Follow Just the Gist on Instagram and TikTok at Just the Gist Podcast and watch the video version of every episode on our YouTube channel, also at, funnily enough, Just the Gist Podcast. Follow Rosie, that's me, in all of the places at Rosie Waterland. Want to give us a suggestion? Tell Rosie to stop singing so much? Email us at hello@justthegist.com.au. Thank you, as always, for listening. Now go say something impressive at a dinner party. Bye.